Hey guys, and welcome to the hashtag Speak Easy podcast with your host, Altaviz Pelzer, your voice manager. I unmute the voice of women who are ready to speak up about what has kept her silent for way too long. I know you saw the title of this episode, Leveraging Opportunities, and let's just be honest, most people are running after and chasing after opportunities, but they don't know how to leverage them when they get them. I need y'all to dig into this episode because it's definitely going to be a good one. So here's the thing. I am an introvert. That's my personality. And so I'm not always the person that's the loudest in the room. And oftentimes I was not the person that would go and ask for an opportunity, or the person that would go and raise my hand to be picked for an opportunity. So something that I learned along the way was that I had to learn not only how to go after opportunities, but how to leverage them when I did receive them. Because unfortunately, there are so many people who are training and teaching people how to go after it, hustle, grind. And then when you get what you're grinding for, how do you know? When you get what you're hustling for, what do you do with it? It was interesting when I started, looking at the whole journey and saying, there's some missing pieces to this puzzle, and we can't even put all the edges together because some critical things have been missing. So when it comes to saying, okay, I want to go ahead and take advantage of an opportunity, we have to get it out of our head that it's about the person's name and popularity, and that's what we need to take advantage of. Because that is what a lot of people are pushing out here in the world. Reality check. Just because somebody has a great name now doesn't mean that they'll have a great name later. And do you really want to be attached to that person when stuff hits the fan? That part. I think we've seen that in so many ways over the last few years of people who have been, hanging out with each other, doing all types of stuff because of the name, right? Say my name. Look, Beyonce moment, right? But just because you're connected and the name is great, it doesn't mean that the opportunity was for you or that you'll know how to handle the opportunity. So when it comes to leveraging opportunity, there were 3 things that I saw that really stood out over the past few years in entrepreneurship. Leaving my job, having coaches, and then having to, move away from those coaches and go back to creating a solid foundation for my business that a lot of the coaches I dealt with did not give. They did not share. And so it was, what is your yes versus your no? It was the first one. The second one was your wisdom versus your knowledge. And then the third one was your consistency. And so how do these help you to leverage opportunities? I'm glad you asked. So your yes versus your no. Oftentimes when people get an open door, they step in willing to say yes to everything because some are appreciative of being in the room. Others are kind of, on a high because they've been invited to the room, and they look around and the names in the room and the people in the room, and they get excited just to be in the room. But they don't know that while they're in the room, they will be asked to do things. They will be asked questions. And the way that they are able to leverage their time in that room is their yes versus their no. When your yes means yes and your no means no. When you can say no because it doesn't line up with your core values. When you can say yes because you see the potential of something further down the line, and it's more than the potential for more money. I know, just let that breathe for a minute. Because reality check, a lot of people, it was the potential for more money that sent you down the rabbit hole. And that potential for more money didn't put you in a good space. It didn't put you in good company. And it didn't allow you to leverage your time in the room that you were invited to. So I have to say that I learned the hard way about having my yes mean yes and my no mean no. And I was talking about this in a recent live stream on Facebook where I said, I was in a program, and at the time I was working on being debt free. I had just paid off maybe $13,000 or something like that in debt. I was almost debt free, paying off student loans, paying off everything. And the person that was coaching me said, oh, well, I have this program, and, you have an opportunity to take a loan out in order to take advantage of this program. And at first I just kind of ignored it and brushed it off because I was like, oh, well, that's business of, that's the business of people. They're going to try to get everybody to, go ahead and, take advantage. They trying to get every dollar, every penny, right? But then they came back more than once and said, oh, yeah, you need to just go ahead and apply, and you should be able to get it. And it, and you won't have to pay the full price for the program. I'll give you a discount. And I'm just like, no. And it was a strong, bold no, because that wasn't what, that wasn't the journey I was on. I knew that I wanted to be debt free. I knew that I wanted to take care of debt, not get more debt, especially not a whole debt with no potential of return on my investment. That part is a whole other situation. But it was crazy because I was in the room, right? I was in this community. And there was things that I was learning in that room, and that was great. But I had to put my foot down in that moment and say no. Allow your yes to mean yes and your no to mean no. And it was a moment of clarity for me because you obviously don't see me as anything more than a $sign and a couple pennies in your bank account. If you don't value the fact that I am working on being debt free and you want me to take out a loan. That's not how any of this goes. Okay? That's not how any of this goes. And so leveraging opportunities is going to test you at your core values. It's going to test you for your mission. It's going to test your vision. And you have to let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. And then the second one was wisdom versus knowledge, and knowing when to make a move, when to not make a move. And so I would have to say the wisdom versus knowledge piece was really, again, these are lessons that I've learned over time, guys. I was speaking on stages, doing several events, a couple events a month, traveling, putting out the money for hotels and food and travel and all of these different things, and not really seeing a return on the investment of what I was putting out. And so knowledge and wisdom, they show up, right? And you got to take full advantage of the knowledge and wisdom you have, because that includes your experience. Knowledge is the education. Wisdom is your experience. And when we look at that, now we're saying, okay, what has my experience been over the last year, 2 years in this program or doing this thing? And then when I see myself doing that, now I'm really going back and saying, okay, is this the right thing? And so, guys, literally, I was at a point where I was putting money out for events, paying to speak, paying to travel, paying for food, paying for my place to stay, not really getting a return on the investment. And then on top of that, if I did make any money, I was giving a percentage of that to the event organizer. Like, this is where it had come to. And wisdom was like, you got a bucket with a hole in it. So you have all this understanding of speaking and being, and making the investments. And at some point in the speaker journey, there are times where you make investments to speak. There are times where you speak for free. There are times where, the payment is them buying copies of the book for everybody in attendance, things like that. But I had come to a point where wisdom and knowledge were both saying, "Hey, yo, stupid, you're not making no money." And so therefore, are you really leveraging the opportunity in front of you? You're not. I get it. Some people are going to listen to this and say, oh, but the experience, you cannot pay bills with experience. You cannot use experience to feed your family. You cannot use experience to keep the lights on. You need finances. And so if you have a bucket with a hole in it and you can't keep anything in, you either get a new bucket or you fix the hole. So I attempted to fix the hole. That didn't work. So I just had to get a new bucket. Leveraging opportunities means when I am in the room, am I using wisdom and knowledge combined to make decisions, or am I using emotion? Ooh, y'all. I hope y'all caught that. Am I using wisdom and knowledge, or am I using emotion? Am I using wisdom and knowledge, or am I people pleasing? Am I using wisdom or knowledge, or am I finding myself trying to fill a void? And I just want to make somebody proud. I want that validation. And so when it came to leveraging opportunities, I found that there were many, many people who that's where it was. That's where they were at. They were filling a void. They weren't using wisdom. They weren't using knowledge. And when they did, they found everything was upside down. Everything was upside down. And they felt like they had to start all over. And that's one of the things that you'll learn when it comes to leveraging opportunities is when you don't learn how to leverage properly in the rooms that you are in, when you don't understand what it is you're supposed to be learning at that time and doing at that time, then everything will flip upside down. It'll collapse. It'll fall apart. And you'll find yourself back at square one, starting all over again. I've been, talking to a few clients and them sharing the things that they did with previous coaches and what they had to overcome and what they had to heal from. And man, when we look back on it, we could say I wasn't using wisdom at that time. Because I would have understood that there was a season and a time for me to leverage where I was at, and that season had ended long before I left. And then that leads me to the last thing, which is consistency. Because, see, it's the consistency that will allow you to repeat the things that you learned in that room, the things that you learned in that class. It's the consistency that will allow you to repeat those things and get a return on your investment. Here's the thing. When we've been in a room for any length of time and find that we have not leveraged that room properly, most people stop. Most people say, I'm going to take a break. Okay, well, I'm going to just take some time off. And it's the ones who remain consistent that you see them endure, you see them succeed, you see them bypass everybody else. Because when they got knocked down, they got back up. Because when the wind got knocked out of them, they took a little time to catch their breath, but they came right back to it. And trust me, the way that you stay consistent is through accountability. The way that you stay consistent is through having someone who is literally there to not pacify you, but to, I don't even want to say like strong arm you sometimes, but I'll say it this way. My clients call me a cliff pusher for a reason. When it comes to accountability, when it comes to that consistency, sometimes you need somebody that's going to push you off the cliff. And that's what accountability is. It's not just your good friend saying, okay, I got your back. All right, yeah, I got you. You going to be all right. I'm going to do it with you. No. Real accountability. Somebody who, when you're not ready to do it, when you say no and try to go in the opposite direction, when you attempt to have your Jonah moment, a true accountability will dump all your stuff out on the ground and say, where you going? Nowhere. Now get back in the house. Now get back at it. Okay, you had your moment. You had your time. Now get back at it. Here's the thing. Do you have what it takes to get back at it? Because even if you weren't able to leverage one room that you were in, when you look down the hallway, there are 20, 30, 50 other rooms that you can leverage. Some have doors closed that are not available to you, but others have doors wide open. Can you have that same energy in a new room? I believe you can, because I did. And so what came from that, leveraging the rooms I was in, learning my yes had to be my yes and my no had to be my no, learning that I had to use wisdom and knowledge in order for me to be able to leverage the room. If not, I did myself a disservice, and every person I worked with, I did a disservice. And guys, I got to tell you this. When you are using wisdom, then you'll stop doing a whole bunch of things to try to make things work, and you'll have a clear strategy. When I go to an event, I have a strategy. When I talk to people and connect with people, I have a strategy. Because without the strategy, I'm walking in the room blind, unable to see the potential, unable to see the pitfalls, unable to see people for who they are. Not numbers, not dollar signs. They're people. Yeah, I just had to come and give you that quick motivation because I think we're at a time where the whole world has been in a pivot. And some of y'all may not like that word because a lot of people use it, but the whole world has shifted. When it comes to being a speaker, that's shifted. When it comes to being a podcaster, that's shifted. And so, because everything's shifted, sometimes we need to be reminded of what the strategy includes. Sometimes we need to be reminded of how much we can actually achieve if we have a plan and we follow the plan. With that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to all of you in India, Russia, and China that have been listening to the podcast. I appreciate you guys. India is actually our number one area for downloads. That is so amazing. Shout out to all of you, those who are listening through one of the podcasting platforms, or you saw the link and decided to click on and listen. It's a blessing to be able to come and talk to you guys and share. And definitely reach out at Altavis Unmuted on Instagram and let me know how this episode resonated with you, or leave me a review on your favorite podcasting platform. I would love to hear your feedback on this topic. Is it something that's true for you? Did you have some of the similar experience? Let me know. Because guess what? You are not alone. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to y'all. But I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. And, I want you to get to a point where you'll be able to say you've mastered the art of leveraging opportunities. Because it is an art. And it can be mastered. You guys have a great rest of your day. And until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.